Also, an announcement. I haven't told anybody, but for this video is a little announcement. I am due to be a father. Uh, and what that means is my son is going to be born in about 5 weeks. Hey, what's up, guys? It's Steven with a MacSpace Mac Repair. I got a repair for you guys today. I do apologize. I haven't put a lot of videos out. I've been really dealing with a new hire. We have more hires over here, and we've been getting a little bit more busier. And we also, by the way, on our X account, x.com/the MacSpace, we got gold verification, which means it's pretty awesome. That means that we are a trustworthy Mac repair shop down here in Georgia. We're in Marietta, basically kind of near the heart of Atlanta. And being gold verification, we have really worked our butts off, and got to a point that we are trustworthy. And these instructional videos that I put out, it's not just for like showing that we repair these videos, but it shows that this is good knowledge out there, because I want to be able to create more people like myself, because I know I can't do this without you guys' help as well. And I would love to create more people that want to learn and people that want to kind of understand how to get into board repair. And these videos are going to be kind of instructional and also showing how I found out. There might be some things that don't make sense, but I'll try to do my best to kind of explain it while I'm trying to keep the customer's computer safe and repaired and retaining their data. One thing I want to say is thank you for the support. If you've been following us on our X account, if you follow us on our TikTok and our Instagram, I know we don't have a lot of followers, but a little bit helps, and we appreciate your support. With that said, let's move on forward and go down straight to the repair. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the overhead. So what I got in front of me is a MacBook Pro A2485. Let me go ahead and fix the camera real quick. Sorry if this is not the way I like it. It's an A2485, and basically the actual computer basically does not display an image. The customer came in and he was like, okay, I spilt wine on this, and yeah, I rushed here. I know you guys do board repair, and I really want to see what's going on. And come to find out, I did a quick diagnostic. The diagnostic, I just kind of looked at it. It turned on, the trackpad clicks, and on top of that, the image didn't display at the moment, but I really didn't see the image, so I kind of grabbed a light. Usually was kind of like what we do, we try to grab a light around the LCD, and I saw the logo. So what happened was that the image is actually there, but there is no backlight. So it's looking like there's a backlight issue, or there's only two possible scenarios. Either the board's gotten hit, which more than likely I see a little residual right over here. There's a little spill that dried up. And in this area, if it's on the opposite side of the board, that's where the backlight driver is, in that area where it will tell the backlight not to come on because it's corroded or it's gotten destroyed. I don't know what's underneath this board. You can tell that it has never been opened, pulled. All the tabs are fresh, clean, never been pulled. The only thing that's been pulled is the battery, because we don't want power to continue to go to the board, because it'll keep creating more power issues, and then the next thing you know, corrosion is building up. We don't want the corrosion to keep building up. We just want it to stop. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and pull this board out. We're going to diagnose the issue. Hopefully it could be an easy repair. If not, and if it ate that whole area and the backlight doesn't turn on because the whole area's got eaten, we're going to have to let the customer know that it's not repairable, because, we don't know. But we don't know that yet. We're going to go ahead and assume the best. We're not going to assume the worst. We're always set our expectations low for the customers, so we can exceed high if we repair it. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and get started. So first thing we're going to do is go ahead and pull the actual board out and get started on that. So that's what we're going to do right now, is pull this board out. And a few things you're going to need for pulling this board out is actual Torx 3 bit, a Torx 5, and honestly, I think that's all you're really going to need, and a Torx 6 or Torx 8 for this area. Well, it's been a while since I've been working on these, because I've been working on other devices. I think it's Torx 6 for this one. Yeah, Torx 6, Torx 5, and Torx 3. You really don't need a Penelope 2. Penelope 2 is for like the LCD area. But anyways, we're going to go and move forward and take the Torx 3 bits off, all the screws and stuff. We're going to put them to the side. And what I like to do is I like to gather all the screws together with where it came from. So if you have a little hinge right here, I like to gather the screws with that, so you kind of know where they came from. And with that said, keep going and moving on. So hopefully we get underneath this board and we don't see too much severe damage. I won't know until I pull it out, but in order to see what's going on the other side, you have to pull the board out. Yay us, right? So But that's what we're here for, is to repair these devices and inform customers of what's going on. We're also one of the most reputable shops in Atlanta. We are recognized as a 5-star business. And it's not like tooting our own horn or anything, is that we have worked tirelessly, hard, and we have kept being, honest with our customers. We have nothing but trust in this community because we are backed by integrity. And why is that, you may ask? Well, myself as a U.S. Marine, I served in the United States Marine Corps. A little bit of history about who I am. Also the founder of this business. I served in the United States Marine Corps and from 2006 to 2014. I have also went to war, and I was an electrician in the Marine Corps. I have electronics background also in my life. I've worked on computers all my life since I was a child. And then I have this degree of understanding how computers work. But it didn't really create the work ethic and understanding until I really served my country overseas in war. And that is where I really had to hone my craft as an electrician. I had to make things work. I had to make the base work. I had to build out the base with some of the other Marines that we landed in the dark of night. And what that was is that we went out there in the middle of the night in Afghanistan in 2008, and I was attached to the 24th MEU BLT-16. So there it is. There's that. That was me. And I was the one that landed in FOB Dwyer. And what does FOB stand for? It's an acronym for Forward Operating Base. And in the Marine Corps, we like acronyms. So with that said, I learned how to hone my craft. I was a little Lance Corporal at the time. I got out of the Marine Corps as a sergeant. But at the time, I was a Lance Corporal, and I was basically a generator operator and electrician. And the MOS was 1141. And what that MOS stands for is a generator operator and a basic electrician. And what I did wasn't really basic, but basic to the Marine Corps at that time, which is basic. But I learned how to advance my skills and how to wire up an entire base with mostly with a few, like about 2 or 3 Marines. And it was a big base, but in the beginning, it was just me doing it. And then I had a little help later on. But we installed Chicos, ACs in the dark, in the heat that was unfathomably dry heat. So good news, it was dry heat, but it wasn't like, it wasn't like humidity, like you're baking because it's humidity and you're baking in the moisture of if it rained and stuff like that. So that's what I did out there, and went on a few patrols, and and I'm here alive today, and I am showcasing. That thing fell right there. I'm just gonna do a quick dump right here. There it is, right there. Showcasing the actual knowledge that I have, and I would like to pass this knowledge on to you guys because it's important that it goes. What I have is documented, and you get to learn. And this is also an announcement. I haven't told anybody, but for this video is a little announcement. I am due to be a father. And what that means is my son is going to be born in about 5 weeks. I have kept this quiet from everybody on the internet, and I wanted to go and say, hey, I am going to be a father. I am now excited. I am going to be a first-time father. I got started late, but I'm going to be a father, and I'm going to be raising my son and at the best of my ability. Some people might say, like, well, your son's going to have to deal with a Marine. So I'm like, yeah, that means I'm going to be very hard on him. But when I mean hard on him, I'm going to be doing it with love. And it's not to be one of those hard fathers. It's want to be those fathers that care and wants the best for his kin, his generational, his ancestors moving forward. And hopefully this knowledge that I create will, my son one day watches these videos, or his sons or his sons get to watch these videos, because I wanted to document these things for everybody to see what I do for you guys. But anyways, I digress. Hopefully you guys get a lesson out of this and learn while you hear get a little bit of background history, you know what I mean? So you get a little bit know who I am, why I do this, and why I am, here's the thing. I learn every day. I learn new things every day, things that I did not know how to do, that I discover on a board. And it's like, I didn't know they would do that. And I'm not, and I always say this, I always proclaim that I am not the best board specialist in the world. My wife thinks I am. A lot of people think I'm the best board specialist, but I like to give her credit as due. And I've learned I kind of understand that board specialty was micro-soldering was a thing when I came across Louis Rossmann. Louis Rossmann is, I would believe, is the forefront of where this all started, because he's the one that documented all these board repairs at the time. And those board repairs back then are a lot easier than they are today, because these boards have gotten more difficult. But, you know, I give credit where it's due, and he is a good board specialist, and he has, I think this is just an opinion, I don't know if for fact, I think he kind of does a little bit more right to repair and advocacy. He advocates for the right to repair, and he kind of goes after these companies that are taking your rights away by trying to create these paywalls or these software blocks on repairing your own devices. And personally, I'm against that. So not against what he's doing, I'm against these companies that are doing that. So just, you know, for the records, because people were like, wait, you said that you're against that? No, I'm saying against these companies that are doing that, because I don't agree with it. I think that we need to be able to own our devices, and we should not be tied down to some software block or parts pairing or marriage to the board. And there's nothing negative about, you know, doing some kind of parts pairing. And like, I'm not against some things if it's like, you know, security, but you have to look at logic. Like, the webcam is your security. Okay, I can get that, but you can just wipe the device and not be parts paired and make it work. But and then you say it's a security for like a lid sensor. Like, really, you're gonna say that's a security issue? No, that's the most stupid thing I've ever heard in my life. So, and I agree with 95% of the things he says. There's 5% things I'm like, I have to kind of like look into it first before I agree, because I like to do my own research, and I'm like, okay, that makes sense, and then I go from there. With that said, he's younger than me. I will say that he is younger than me. He has a good story. Actually, that's not the right one right there. I need this guy right here, I believe. Yep, there it is. He's younger than me. I think he's about like 3 or 4 years younger than me. That tells you how old I am and the way I look. I'm not like, I look younger than I look, is what people say. And I think that has a lot to do with the genes of my family. You know, my mother and so forth. So moving forward, where was I at? Torx 5. We got Torx 3 right there. We need Torx 5. So he, you know, I'm talking about him because this is a kind of a video that I want to talk about him a little bit, and it's not really like negative or positive. It's just kind of like, it's just talking about the guy, and you might take it as a positive thing, because he's starting this idea. It's more than just an idea. It was an action. He kind of, oh man, I always do that. There it is right there. He had this idea that, hold up, I think someone's here. Pause. Okay, sorry, I thought I heard someone at the front of the store, but I heard all this banging. But they're actually doing some construction 2 doors down from our business, and they're creating a Mexican restaurant. It's kind of a chain that's locally. I don't remember the name anymore because I just kind of like took a glance. But where was I? Oh yeah, so Louis Rossmann has started a lot of a movement, and he has built a good foundation on board repair and knowledge on the internet. And if you haven't seen his videos, you should definitely go check him out. It may not be for y'all of you, because he is a little bit more vocal. He does tend to cuss at, you know, and say things, and that's okay. That's what he needs to do. That's how he is, and there's nothing wrong with that, because it's his right to speak how he likes on his videos. So you heard it from me today, a Marine, that it's his right to speak how he wants, because that is his First Amendment. So anyone that's against what he says and don't agree with it, you're probably looking in the context of the bad words it says, but you don't see the context of the good things of why he's saying it. So look past the bad words and look at the actual, the real message, and just look past the bad words. So go check him out. Go watch him. Excuse me. Anyways, so he started that, and yeah, that's kind of like, you know, another thing about like, well, if that's how I started, like, well, I've been kind of doing board repair in my life. I understood it because back in high school, there was a class in high school I went to in Virginia. I'm not gonna say what high school I went to. I'm not gonna give you all the history where I was, because, you know, privacy. But I went to high school in Virginia, and there was a class in school. And that class was electronics class, and there was only 6 people in that class because no one wanted to do it. And it was this engineer, and he really was telling us that this is the future. And this is the future, is board repair is going to be very, very much needed in the future, because it's going to get complicated. And if we do not have people like ourselves all hope is going to be lost. And he said that in class, something around the lines. I'm just kind of giving you some context of what I could remember. I was once of the only, I think there were 6 or 10 people. It's been a long time. I know it was not a lot of people because people dropped out of that class and could not handle the math and dealing with electronics. And like, he also taught us how to create boards and how to go into this acidic bath where you get the board and you throw it in the bath and it kind of comes out green and the board has all the traces. It was so cool. And I remember all this stuff and I was in high school at that time. And I got an A in the class. And not tooting my own horn, but it's like I really found it really amusing and I found it very interesting. And I really, and one thing hit with me. He said, if you don't want to look past that, getting bored of this, then look at the money that is involved in doing this. You are going to be one of the most paid people in the world if you find a good job that wants people like you. But you look at now, today's world has kind of shifted away of board repair because people are more like, oh, well, I don't know. Hold on a second. There's something right there. I missed a little thing. That's why I don't pull too hard. I always try to feel a little bit things here. Oh, I hate when these things come off. They always come off, but I just put them right back. Pull that there. I should be able to pull it up without an issue. Nice and easy. We're already at the board pulling. There we go. Now, we have the board pulled out. I'm going to go ahead and put this guy's top case to my left before I continue. Oh, anyways, he was mentioning that if you look at this as a job, if you don't look at it as something you want to do, but you look at it as a job, it's a very, very well-paid job because a lot of people don't have these expertise. And this is going to be a better paying job in the future. And he tried to touch up on how important it is to be an electronics engineer, of knowing how to repair boards, knowing how to create the boards, knowing how to understand the electrical flow of the boards and resistors, capacitors, transistors, the chips that go into it, the ones that communicate. And he even taught us how to put a board together and how to do a light switch and how to do LEDs and see just how to do everything, not the major boards, but he explained this basic knowledge is going to help you learn how to do more in the future. And it was a very awesome class. I hope he's still alive today because I would love to go back and tell him thank you. And I did look it up and I kind of was I found him in the school. He's not there. I don't know if he's still there, but he was in the military as well. Kind of makes sense because he was an electronics engineer in the military. So he became a teacher and taught us. So anyways, most of the people in the class did not take it. And those that did, I hope those that passed continued using this knowledge. So there's a little history with me. All right, let's move on. And as I suspected, on this area, I'm gonna go ahead and pull the board up, the microscope, and I'm gonna show you what I see. As I suspected, this is what I was seeing. Hold up, let me pull this down and show you what I'm seeing. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this bad boy up real quick. Let's do this. All right, look at that. Let's go ahead and bring this down a little bit. I know some people might say you can get a better light for this, but I haven't gotten to that point yet because I've been doing a lot of repairs. But what did I visually said? On the other side where that liquid hit, it hit where the actual backlight is. This kind of seems familiar, doesn't it? I did a repair like this before, but it was for a 14-inch, but now it's a 16-inch. I'm gonna do a quick little check real here, see if they're soldered down pretty well. Okay, I don't see anything moving. Okay, not moving hard. Not moving, not moving, not moving. Okay, not moving, not moving. Okay, that doesn't seem so bad. We're gonna have to probably replace all this area because the only liquid damage I see on this board is right there. Now, with that said, you kind of, let me see if is there a thing on here that I have my face in this? Let's see, overhead with microscope and me, overhead with face, overhead with microscope, overhead with microscope, board view with microscope. Do I not have one of me with a overhead with face, overhead with camera? Do I not have? Oh, there it is. Main scene microscope. There we go. So you see that right there. Yeah, it's kind of like dead giveaway. You can't really see me, but yeah. So anyways, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and take a picture of this Go ahead and do that. If you know, drop in the comments in the video. Whoever, if anyone that responds, or like I think Louis Rosman, and there's like Northridge Fix, and there's other people that that use this not microscope, but they use a light that kind of like I think connects, where you can control the computer, where you can actually like get rid of this glare. I haven't found what it was. I know it exists. I just haven't had a chance to get it. But if you want to drop in the comments in the video, go ahead and show me where to get it. I would adjust it so you guys can actually see much better, because some of you probably don't like that. Maybe you don't care. You just like watching the videos and repairs because it's like ASMR. That'd be cool. ASMR video of me doing repairs. That'd be awesome. Thought for the future. Anyways, so I'm gonna go ahead and do it before I get started. I'm gonna go ahead and take a picture of this for the customer, document it, and then let them know we found the issue and we need to get approval for the repair. So I'm gonna go and move this real quick. Take a picture of it. So we do take a lot of pictures here. We like to document everything, and we also like to show the customers where the liquid damage is, because it's very important that we do that. Let me see if I can get really close here. You know what's weird is that the iPhone really, and I hate to say this, it really sucks when you come in close. Like the only way it looks good if you zoom in from far away like this. Yeah, I think it's the 14 that does this. It's not the 13. So I just need one good clear picture. And there we go. So we're going to keep that picture right there. And now we have documentation where it is. I'm going to go ahead and give the customer a quick call and see how he wants to proceed. That is, I'm moving this over because this is supposed to be more centered with the actual camera. So I'm going to go ahead and give him a call, and I'm going to pause this video, and then I'll record it if he approves it. If he does not, then so forth. All right. Okay, guys, we got the approval for the board repair. I thought I hit the record button, but this is his board. I kind of cleaned it up just to clean this area up, because I'm going to do a quick test on find out where the short is, see if there's a short anywhere, and try to find out what's bad. We're going to go ahead and remove all the back capacitors anyway, even if they don't seem bad and they don't show that they're bad. But we're going to remove the bad ones, and even if they don't look like they're not giving you shorts, you know, we're going to remove them and replace them with good capacitors that are not burnt. With that said, let's go ahead and do a quick, before we clean this off, let's see if there's a short present off the capacitors. More than likely it's capacitors. We're hoping that the backlight driver is not the issue, so we're going to go ahead and see if there is any shorts present. So right now on the schematic, we have, I'm going to go ahead and zoom in on this real quick. Go up right here and go from that, and then hit this right here. So there's a short present on this line right here. There's a short present on this line as well. So it's telling me the backlight driver has a short. Okay, that's showing us there's a short on this area. There's a short there. There's a short present right here, which is pointing to this. Do this one as well. Nope, no short there. No short there. No short there. No short there. So these guys haven't really exploded. They got corroded. But there's telling me there's a short here. So this is shorted. So this doesn't look so bad now that I cleaned it up. But we're going to replace these guys right here and these guys right here just for, this looks like it's not that bad. It's still got the, nothing going on there. Short present right here, short present right there. So let me show you on the microscope again. And so you see where I'm looking at on the board view. I'm touching CP815 on the positive side, which is where Lux is. What Lux is that one? Lux ISLR. And that is pointing. There's no stuff there. So if the resistor is showing that, and then this is showing that, then this guy most likely is fine. This guy is fine. This points to this area. We'll do a test on everything. Okay, just as I suspected, the backlight driver is bad. So we're going to go ahead and remove the backlight driver first and see that that short goes away. And yeah, we're going to remove that first, and then we'll replace the capacitors. It looks like there's only a few I need to replace. I'm going to replace these 2 capacitors right there just for safekeeping and just to be safe, because I'd rather it be those don't go bad one day. So it's better to replace them. All right, I'm going to go ahead and bring the temperature down from 425. I'm bringing it to 250. 250 Celsius first to heat it up naturally. Put the airflow to 80. I'm just going to heat it up a little bit. We don't want to bend the board. We're just going to heat it up. Let it work the heat up. Get it hot first. You don't want to throw 425 degrees Celsius at the board just too quickly. I never mentioned that, but it's kind of important that you kind of preheat the board just a little bit so it can kind of get used to the heat, and then you raise it up. Get it hot. Don't go too hot. It'll get hot enough. And, you know, about give it like 15, 25 seconds, 30 seconds. A little bit of heat here. And remember the orientation of this. You got the little dot right there. So that orientation is very important. That orientation of the backlight driver has to be exactly the way you see it. So the little dot, so dot is top left. So always remember, top left is the period right there for the backlight, because you can't just put a backlight driver and assume it's going to work any position. There is an orientation for a reason, and that's why they have a dot on these for a reason. They're telling you which direction it needs to go. Okay, I'll raise the heat up. Okay, I'm going to raise it up. Going back up, we're going to jump it to 425 degrees Celsius now. Remember, you got to use flux on this as well. Tweezers, very, very sharp tweezers. Keep this pointed away. Just point on the area you're trying to remove. Don't force it. Let it get loose itself. Be nice and easy with it. You force it, you rip the pads. So let it do its job. Also, make sure you turn your Hako filter on, because you're dealing with heat. You're dealing with leaded solder. You want this stuff to suck up the air as best as possible. Turn this airflow to 100. This is taking a sweet time. I highly suspect there's going to be corrosion underneath this. And you know the backlight driver is probably bad. There it is. There we go. Remove the backlight driver. Now let's see if that short is gone. Let's see if you... no, I'm not going to do that just yet. Let me go and clean this up, because you see some balls touching right here. Go ahead and do that real quick. Let me switch it to the microscope so you can see much better. I'm going to go ahead and get my trusty handy dandy. And get this guy, cut him off. Don't need a lot. You got the board already hot, so I'm going to scrape this up. There we go. That's good enough for me. I'm going to go clean it up a little bit with the Q-tip. Put the alcohol in the Q-tip. Don't throw it all in there. Deja vu kind of feels like it because I've done this type of repair before and it's not really much of a difficult repair. All right, let's go ahead and test that area for shorts. See if we remove the short. Red probe to ground, black probe to the positive side. And we're going to be testing CP8115 on Lux ISR 9N. It's dropping. So that short is somewhat there, but it's not like, it's dropping almost 0 ohms. It's getting close. Still have a short somewhere. Somebody's shorted. Let's see. Let's see if this is short on the resistor. Literally like down to 1 ohm. It's about to, it's hitting 1 ohm. We're gonna cool it down a little bit. I'm just gonna cool it down. See if that removes that. See if that removes that. One ohm still dropping down to 0.1 ohms. Unless my multimeter is off. I highly doubt it. It's a fluke. Do something real quick. Okay, let me do a cross-reference check real quick on a good area, a good board that we have that we're going to be transferring over. Make sure I'm not losing my mind. No, this is normal. It had higher ohms, but the ohms dropped down to 0.1 with this one as well. So hold on a second. I think there's something going on with my tweezers here. Well, with that removed, I think that there's really nothing going on with this. I think it's just my suspicions. And it's kind of odd. But maybe this one's shorted too? Maybe? We'll grab another board just for verification. That short shouldn't be present at all. Let me try another board real quick. Don't mind me, you won't see it. I'm just going to check this real quick and see if it's doing the same thing on this board. Want to see. Yeah, it's normal. Okay. Well, then being normal, that just confirms my suspicions that there is really nothing to be concerned about. We just got to transfer a backlight driver over, and yeah, that's just normal behavior, I guess. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove this backlight driver and transfer it over, because it doesn't seem like there's anything going on that's suspicious on this one. So we're gonna go ahead and transfer this one over. We're gonna get this one off safely. Did someone open the door? Okay. Remember that backlight driver orientation, guys? That's what we're doing here. I did check all the donor boards, and they're doing the same thing with 0.1 ohms and 0.2. It starts off 1 ohms and then drops down to 0.1. So I think everything that is a normal reading. And my multimeter is telling me otherwise, but you know, it's saying that's the short there, but it's not. And these don't have any issues on their board. So it's kind of like, to me, it's like a false positive. So we're just gonna go and change the backlight driver. Then check the voltage in those areas to see if there's any voltage. Obviously, do a basic check. Yeah. See this side, see this side. Okay, good, not bad. We're gonna use that. I'm gonna use that right there, not a problem. Put this there. Now we gotta reball it. Checking the visual on these capacitors, resistors, and they look actually good. They don't look broken. They're not showing any. They show a little bit of residual, but it's not damaged. Everything looks clean. Doesn't look actually that terrible now that I see it, but from the top side it looks bad, but when you look at the angle side, you see looks actually not bad at all. I'm probably going to replace that one capacitor at the top. The other one at the bottom doesn't seem too worrisome. But I do got to reball this chip, so we'll put his board to the side real quick. I need to get a stencil that I can use. This one will work, I believe. Now we got to see if we have room for it. All right, let's see the orientation. It doesn't have to be all of it. It just needs to fit. Too big. Too small. Perfect size. Oh, that's a perfect fit. That's perfect. Actually, that's a backlight driver side right there. Look at that. We got a perfect fit right here. There we go. Dope. All right. Get this cleaned up a little bit. It's a little gnarly. It's all right though. Just want to clean it up. Very much better. That stencil is kind of bent a little bit, but it's all right. We'll get it working. Okay, we're gonna go and put this right there. That right there. That's all we need. really all I need. So when you do it one time, put in our little freezer that says lead did solder do not handle without gloves. Very important that you handle this with gloves on. Doesn't matter what kind of gloves, just make sure you're wearing gloves. Don't scrub too hard, just kind of let it sit there. Hold this down like that. 375 degrees Celsius, airflow 1. Sometimes pull away from it, because you don't want to like bubble into the other side. Let it cook. Surprised that these are not balling up as much. They should, but they're not. Gripping. For some reason this lead is not, it's gathering, but not all of it. Weird. Must be something else. No problem. This is good enough. It doesn't have to be too perfect. Okay. Go. Nice. Okay, cool. This came out perfect. We're just gonna put a little flux on this guy. Just a little. So it can kind of create a perfect circle. And there we go. Perfect enough for me. All right, now, remember that orientation top left with that thing right there? We're gonna go ahead and do this. Bring this back up a little bit because it's out of focus. This right here. Okay, top left. Trying to heat this up a little bit. Okay, raise this up. Okay. feel for it. There we go. Just let it grip and then come back at it, let it go, and then let it do the rest on its own. Just kind of let it grip. Let it go. Dope. And then just come back and circle. Turn the hair up a little bit. You want it to move around and grip and pull itself in a perfect position. Unless I put it in a perfect position, then that's great. Looks like I did. I guess good job on the first try. Okay. Remember the dot's top left corner. All right, so with that said, I'm gonna go ahead and remove these two capacitors. I'm gonna replace them. I just don't trust them anyways, the way they look. It bothers me. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove them. Replace them anyways. Because we want our work to look good, not bad. And we'll put the donors on there. And then we'll do a quick voltage test. See if there's voltage going in that area. We'll test voltage here and here and here. And if there is voltage, that means it's working. Oh, that looked like that moved right there. You see that? It just finally moved. Get rid of this guy. Get rid of this guy. All right. I'm gonna clean that up a little bit. Don't like it. There's this little corrosion there. Those resistors kind of worry me. I'm just going to go ahead and remove those as well, those two bottom ones. I don't trust them, just because they look weak. They look like they've been hit, so we're just going to remove them. Two resistors, two capacitors. There we go. Okay, now let's go ahead and what's going on with this guy? You know, for our yeah, everything looks good right there. So let me go get the donor on there. Let's go and get these donors. Put this guy's board right here. We got two capacitors on this one. I'll just take it from this one. And then I'll get it from the other one, the other two resistors. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take these both off, put them on the side, and then transfer them over. Remember, this is identical donor board, so they're the exact same model, exact same specs. So really nothing's changing here. You could always get this from another board, but it's a lot easier to have a donor board as an identical model because you can just copy and paste Frankenstein to parts. Makes life a little bit easier. This is being a little bit difficult. There we go. That right there. That one right there. So put this guy away. Bring him back. Put a little flux there so we don't have an issue. That's a little more than one little flux, but whatever. This is, gotta make it nice and thin. Sorry I'm a little shaky today. Drank coffee earlier, not a good idea. Oh my God. Well, lost that one. That's all right. You can do it at a low speed if you want, but I'm a little like, I gotta move fast, gotta heat it up. Okay, cool, it's holding. Not a lot, but just enough for me to let it grip. There it is, gripped. That one gripped. Perfect. Where'd the capacitor to go? It flew away. It did, so that's okay. I'll just grab another one. Just grab another one from the other board. Not a problem. Which one did we get? Which one do we need? Oh God. Top one. Donor board, come off. If I lost this, I would just have to look what the rating is on this capacitor and then just find one off the board somewhere else. I believe there's a whole bunch of extras on this board, so I'm not too worried about it. There it goes. Gonna put this guy to the side because we need those resistors. Okay, that's good enough for me. It'll grab. Just need to put a little flux there again. There it is, grabbing that one. The other side needs to melt. Come on, buddy. A little more flux there because that is not to my standards. Some people are like, why don't you add new leaded solder there? It's like, look, if it works and it holds it down, I'm not going to be complaining about it. Problem is, I don't like that. Here it is. Okay, cool. Now it's actually gripping. Let's put this back in, and it'll go right back in place. Gonna move. I don't know about that. Feel about that. Holding really well. So I'll just do a little bit of just because for my own peace of mind. Yeah, this is a little small, but oh no. Gotta clean that up. It's all right. Very easy fix. That's a bigger blob than I want it to be. So I'm just gonna do a little quick grab of it. Much better. Yeah, that's fine with me. That's good enough. That's fine. Oh, I grabbed the wrong solder wick. That's why I couldn't get it. Oh, let me get that off. I'm not really a perfectionist, but I do like to get it cleaned up a little bit. There we go. Much less ball there, much better, much more cleaner. Now let's go ahead and put the resistors on. What we're missing is the top two, or bottom two, excuse me, I said top two, bottom two. We need these guys right here. I'm gonna transfer one by one, so I'm just gonna take it off, hold it, and transfer to the next one. Okay. That's that. When it's gripping, it'll grip more once it gets hotter. There it goes. It went in. Good. That one's in. One more. Ow, 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 ow. That's why I'm wearing gloves. One more, baby. One more. Okay. A little flux there. Probably do a little bit, but it just does more than I want to do, but whatever. Flux is not going to hurt it. Makes it messy, but you need to clean it after. There it goes. It moved. All right. Let me clean this up. Look at this mess. A little bit more. Okay. It was a little dirty, but now I'm curious if it's going to get voltage in that area. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this computer. Let's see. I need to get just one of these. Just because we need to make sure there's voltage going to that area. Grab the boards thing. Do this right here. Get this out of the way. Huh. I think he has a bad port. Let's see, the port is kind of gnarly. Let's see if this port's bad. I just noticed something. Yeah, that port is looking like it got hit. Yeah, this port got hit. We might have to replace this port. That's okay. We'll get another one. Let's get another port. So he needs a port replacement as well. This port looks good. Okay. There we go. Okay, it was a bad port. That port's bad, so he needs a port replacement as well. We just discovered that his port is bad. All right, let's see if I get overhead. Let's see if we get the voltage on that area. You go ahead and change it to overhead with microscope and me. Go ahead and do this nice and easy, delicately. Volts. There was a small little issue that happened, but I did resolve it. And I'm going to show you over here. I kind of had to focus on this line, and this is where I'm going to make more videos about running lines. But I'm going to go ahead and show you this area right here. So I kind of went and did a quick test, and this area right here, this lux underscore ISL underscore in, I guess, I don't know if my pin touched or I think my pin touched it, but I was able to save it. So even mistakes like this can get fixed. And it was a minor mistake. It was not an intentional. I guess the probe touched this area and it fried this connection right here. However, I was able to solve it and fix it. It burnt the hole down to the port, but that port is only one resistor. It's a 0 ohm resistor that connects to Lux ISL in. If you look on the actual board view, it goes all the way down. Let me go here. On the opposite side of the board where there is a resistor, 4-pin resistor right here. These are longer areas and it's a small circular pin. So what I did was, if you look at this area, you see that the green stuff that you got to cure it with the, it looks like you don't want to look at this thing in the eye. I ain't got time to explain too much, but I'm just going to explain it quickly. This area right here runs this line, that resistor just runs right there, and then that other end runs to the driver. This is very important to be connected to this resistor because it's important for it to have the continuity. Maybe I'm saying that wrong, but it has to continue. So what I did was, if you look at the board view and then you look at the microscope camera, you'll see that the green is right there, and I already put the board in the chassis, and the backlight turned on. So I'm going to go ahead and show you real quick of the overhead that the backlight does turn on. And I carefully put it in because, you know, it's cured. It's very important that I ran this line because I guess it was repaired after I did the driver was replaced. And I'm gonna move this out of the way, and I'm gonna show you that it does turn on now. So the backlight does turn on now, and I have the battery disconnected, but that's okay. We just need to show you that the backlight turns on. Even if it boot loops for a second or turns off and on, it's okay, because the actual logo is what we want to see. And there it is. So I repaired the problem. I'm gonna disconnect it now. I repaired the problem, and now the backlight comes on and it holds. So the moral of the story is, and this is a lesson real quick, I also was getting hot, so I took off my sweater. Same video, I just kind of took my sweater off, so it's hanging right here in the back. I kind of was sweating. I was like, all right, let me take this off because I need to be more free with my hands. I ran a line. I wish I did record the line, but I had to focus because that was a very delicate line. I had to run to the opposite side of the board and then cure it so it doesn't get moved and it doesn't touch any of the areas of the other resistors, and it worked beautifully. It was a pain because the other side of the resistor had nothing to grip on, so I had to run the line underneath the resistor, and then it gripped it, and then the other pin that was not removed or damaged got connected, and then it held, and then I cured it and it stayed in place, and it cured the area as well so that nothing can touch it. It doesn't move ever again. So that line is safe, but for, for future reference, those, you got to be very delicate with the pins. Even I, professional, can not see how far the pin is because my eye cannot see that far even with the microscope. So that little small area injected 12 volts into that little resistor and killed that resistor. But even though it killed it, it was able to be saved with a new resistor, and we soldered it on, and good as new. It works perfectly fine. So it was a good thing. It was an easy fix, because if it was running a line across the board, that would have been more difficult. But since it's on the opposite side of the board, I was able to run the line on the opposite side without touching anything but that connection for that resistor to the other side of the resistor. So moral of the story, be patient, but also don't work while your hands are a little shaky, because I drank coffee this morning. So I learned my lesson there. I was a little shaky working. I usually don't shake on the microscope, but it's also because I didn't eat this morning. So I am very precise, even with shakiness. I know how to do things, but sometimes I'd rather not have coffee in my system if I'm doing board repair, but I digress. But the board is repaired, and I hope you learned a little bit about my history and being, a Marine that served in war. There's things, I'm not perfect. That's why I always say, my wife tells me that I'm one of the best board specialists in the world. I'm like, that's funny. I'm not. I think I like to humble myself. Like, no, there's people that are better than me. They're probably in China. There's Louis Rossman, there's Northridge Fix, and there's other shops that I can't really mention, but I didn't say I can't, I just don't know their names. But it's just that, the importance of, this is where your skill set you have to have extra skill sets. If you want to be a board specialist, you have to be able to solder the balls, resolder balls, with a stencil. You have to know how to run a line. You have to know how to fix something that you may have accidentally, not intentionally, got sparked, and you have to run a line somewhere. Or you come across a capacitor that won't sit on the board because the line is fried, and you have to run a line from that same line from somewhere else to bring that voltage to that capacitor so it can actually stabilize itself. Just do everything correctly, because remember, electrical flow is very, very important. There is a flow, and it has to follow the path. And that's how we treat electricity. In the same concept in audio music. I went to school for audio and video production, and we had the same concept. The audio signal has to follow a path to get to the end point and to the beginning. It's not some cross multiple sections. It's more like the line has to go somewhere, and it has to continue the bridge. So anyways, I repaired the board. It's working, and we're gonna go wrap this up. I also was gonna clean the side of the board over there, but because there's a lot of stuff, I kind of just alcohol scrubbed it a little bit, just to be careful, because I didn't want to mess up the cure of the what do we call this stuff? This is what I'll show you what I use. It's called it's a UV curing. We call it UV curing, and it's a masking ink, and it gets hardened, and it protects anything like lines. This is really meant for lines. So when you're curing the lines, it hardens it, so like it just makes it easy, and it keeps the line in place so it doesn't move. And that's what we want. We don't want the line just to move anywhere freely. And plus, it's an electrical line. Even it's a copper line. So this is thinner than hair, so you can't see it, but I'm pulling it, and it came out of my hand. But if I pull it, you see how thin it is. You see that's thinner than my hair. So this copper, you have to run that copper line, and then you kind of have to add some leaded solder around it so it can hold down. But that's what you use to run the electricity, the electrical flow through the other capacitors and all that. So if you have a burnt pad, and the pad is gone and eaten because of corrosion, all hope is not naturally lost. You just got to see if that line is somewhere near it or it's around, and you have to put that line somewhere to continue that flow. Because the boards are mostly repairable, even if you have a burnt pad, but it just depends how bad the damage is. So anyways, hope you guys learned something today, and also thank you for watching. And if you like this video, go and hit the like and hit the follow page on our YouTube, and also this is a TikTok out there, and our X page. Go ahead and follow us on all our social medias. Thank you.